Okay, soggy rainy day today. Tomorrow I have my appointment, so we'll see what's going on with that top tooth and stuff there, huh? I believe they're just doing like an x-ray and stuff at first, correct, to see what's wrong. But other than that, what did I read today? I guess the first one was kind of interesting, which basically just shows police officers using drones, but I guess it's the picture that kind of got me interested. This one says, this evening's officers from A Block have attended reports of intruders on site at Fiddler's Ferry Power Station. Assisted by our drone unit, we have carried out an extensive aerial ground search. We have identified several lines of inquiry which we will be following up. So you can see them sending their large drone out there. Although it got me thinking, because I know that's a drone, obviously, the one in the front. But how about the ones in the back with that red light? Is that just a reflection from the drone's light, or is that actually more drones? So it got me to think of that Gatwick incident. Remember that? The fiasco of them trying to find a drone in the airport, but they ended up finding nothing. And then people kept saying things like crane lights were drones, but again, it wasn't. It actually got me thinking too, would it actually be better if you had a smaller drone in that situation? Just in case you want to try to track the suspect and you don't want them to actually be aware that there's something flying above them? Because this would be really loud, I would assume. Or is that your intent, to basically scare them off? And thinking back here in Canada, Transport Canada is still using all their advertisements to tell people to register your drones, and that's basically generating a lot of negative response in terms of the majority, where people are calling it a cash grab, saying how broken things like the tests are. For example, even more recent comments, this guy says, I totally get privacy and airspace rules, but innovation has to be encouraged, not barriers. Another stupid government agency trying to regulate an area that they shouldn't be concerned with. And then this guy says, they see an opportunity to grab money from poor Canadians. This country is going to a dark ages with the depressing schemes it is inflicting upon people. Another guy says, only other government that said for your own safety as much as this one in the last century didn't end well for them. So again, it seems like the majority of the people are really negative towards Transport Canada. I guess their guidelines and directions for drones. But this one actually got me thinking the most, because this guy said, I had a question about hypoxia. So he's talking about things that you have to answer during the drone exam and stuff. Now keep in mind that test is completely random from their database, so I wouldn't doubt that this question actually is there. And for those who don't know, just for things like what hypoxia is, you can even see from the US FAA site when they describe it, it says pilots may experience hypoxia when flying at an altitude in an unpressurized aircraft. In other words, with increasing altitude, the partial pressure of oxygen gets lower and the lungs cannot effectively transfer oxygen from the ambient air to the blood to be carried to all the tissues in the body. So really, obviously this is meant more for traditional manned air pilots that are flying so high in the air, for example. Even like news stories, you can see with the pictures, the terrifying ongoing mystery of suffocating fighter pilots. Hypoxia has troubled pilots for decades, and now it's appeared in the F-35. Why do you need to teach a basic drone operator stuff like this? And the disturbing thing, which is borderline comical at this point, is there are actually people who say, no, everything there makes perfect sense. These questions are perfectly valid for a drone operator. For basic operation stuff, I don't think so. Again, you're not sitting on these drones and stuff when people are flying these things, especially like these modern day ones that a lot of people are flying, like DJI ones, for example. To me, again, anyone who says, oh, those questions, a test exam and all that, they make perfect sense for a drone operator, you're either extremely ignorant on how it is overall, or you're completely selfish, in my opinion, if you say that's okay. I still remember one topic where Transport Canada recognized that the questions, a lot of them were completely irrelevant, or some of them even inaccurate, but they didn't want to remove some of them from the database, otherwise it will reduce the amount of questions, which I guess would make it easier. I mean, what is this? Is this really about safety, teaching people to fly safely? Or is it more about trying to restrict people as much as possible or discouraging them from flying? And then the last thing I read was in terms of things like that vaccine for the COVID-19. They said they had actually a vaccine here that they're releasing and people are actually using it, at least in various parts of the world, and it's going to be here in Canada. But how about this? Like all of a sudden a warning about it? This one says, Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine Health Canada recommendations for people with serious allergies. It says 2 individuals in the UK reported severe allergic reactions to Pfizer BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine on December 8, 2020. As vaccine rollout begins in Canada, Canadians may be wondering about the risk of allergic reactions and if they should receive this vaccine and if they have allergies to foods or other medications. People with allergies to any of the ingredients in the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine should not receive it. Speak with your health professionals about any serious allergies or other health conditions you may have before you receive this vaccine. And they do list the ingredients here. Can't even pronounce a lot of them. Makes me wonder how this will actually affect things like vaccine rollouts here in Canada. Because I know there was some controversy where people were saying they're going to make it mandatory, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Is there any vaccine here that's actually mandatory? But how would you know ultimately if you're allergic to this stuff and you've never taken it before, if that makes sense? Wouldn't it just be trial and error? I think that's some of the apprehension a lot of people have. They don't want to be the guinea pig, if that's what you want to say. Who knows what will happen at this point, although this is supposed to be the thing that made everything, I guess, normal again, I guess you could say. Alright, hopefully everything will go okay tomorrow. Again, it should just be a quick x-ray and stuff like that. Other than that, I guess I can't fly today since it's still raining. I guess it's time for the archive. Alright, see you guys later.